Greetings, chess players. My name is Chris Torres. It is Thursday night. I hope you're having a good week. Thursday night is a special night for me. It means I get to teach and then play games against the wonderful kids from Gomes Elementary School in Fremont, California. My name is Chris Torres. This is Daily Chess Musings. And we are rapidly getting the kids ready for the Cal Chess State Championships, which is coming up very quickly, March 19th and 20th. Of course, I'll be there because I am the Cal Chess Scholastic chair, as well the coordinator, as well as the Cal Chess editor for the Cal Chess Journal. So I will definitely be there. So in a moment, let me check my screens. Good. In a moment, I'm going to play some chess as usual with the kids. Oh, and we got one from Dice Knights. All right, here we go. With the kids from Gomes Elementary School in Fremont, California. Tonight, during our lesson, we looked at a wonderful game between Zukertort and Adolf Anderssen. Wow, was that a special game. Zukertort took him apart, and Anderssen at the time was considered the strongest chess player in the world. I'm going to go with a Petrov. So e4, e5, knight f3, knight f6, Petrov's defense, or the Russian game. d3. So normally there you see knight takes e5, right? Or knight c3. So you have a four knights game. d3 is kind of restrictive for white because it blocks in the bishop. It blocks in the bishop. So it gives black a freer position to work from. And with that freer position, I'm going to move a second pawn as well, but I'm going to take the center. Take more control of the center. I could have also played knight c6, had a good variation of, all right. Let's see. I could just push, but the pawn on e5 will be weak for a long time. So instead of pushing, I'm going to get ready to castle. And should I play bishop c5? Yeah, looks right. Bishop c5 threatening f2. The belly button. Yeah, in that... okay. So they took my pawn. Now, I have a lot of things I could do here. I could develop with a threat against this knight that's exposed now after taking the pawn. I could, a good way of doing that might be queen e7 or knight c6, right? These make sense. Or I could simply castle. And then my opponent's lost a little bit of time. But I got to be careful. Let's say I do castle. What's to stop my opponent from playing bishop g5 and pinning the knight, and then knight takes d5, right? So maybe that's a little too... that actually could... I need to create a threat against this forward knight. I'm going to go with the... let's see. I'm going to go with the queen e7 idea. Let's do it. So putting my queen in the same file as my opponent's king, one that is kind of opening up. One that is opening up. Okay. That is defending the knight, obviously, grabbing some more space. Black, this bishop is very restrictive for white. It's important to realize that. White right now cannot castle kingside. So I'm going to create some more pressure on this knight that stands between my queen and the opponent's king. There's already pressure between, there's already contention between the two pawns, right? So let's create some pressure on the knight on e5. I want to clear things out and then say Chekaruski. Okay, and I was planning on taking with my bishop. This way I can castle either side. I am ready to castle. That actually isn't a threat, because remember, my queen is in the same file as my opponent's king, so it's actually not a threat. I don't need to do anything about that right now. So I'm going to castle queenside. So I have a queen in the same file as my opponent's king, and a rook in the same file as my opponent's queen. Wow. Plus I got, oh, that was a good strong move. That looks very good. It takes away my bishop's influence, right? And does it with a threat. So my bishop's no longer controlling these important squares that stop white's king from castling. That was a good move. So I probably should do something about the bishop. I still don't need to do anything about the knight. Probably the best thing I can do with the bishop is pin this knight here, because maybe my knight's going to come to the outpost right in the middle of the board. Maybe that's what it's going to do. There certainly are some other possibilities as well. But I think now going to the outpost now doesn't work so great, so I want to play bishop takes knight first so that I can go to the outpost without the knight on c3 taking my knight on e4. So this knight is my best piece on the board right now. A lot of people might be saying, what about your queen? The queen's worth $9. Yeah, the queen's worth $9. But this knight is just super powered. Okay, now it looks like white is getting ready to castle queenside. It looks that way. And I am getting ready to cause some problems. Of course, I'm looking at queen h5 first. But g3 actually does work because the queen is on f3 to add support. So I'm going to do something a little interesting here. What I am thinking about is playing h5. Why h5? Well, then my bishop can go to g4. And especially if my opponent castles, that would be skewering the queen to the rook. So I'm going to go ahead and do it. h5. Again, my name is Chris Torres. I am a correspondence chess master. I am the Cal Chess coordinator. Now this creates a weakness. So they stop my bishop from going to g4. But look at this weakness now. Now this weakness can be filled nicely with the check. See how powerful this knight is? Now you see why. Now you see why that knight is so powerful. Okay. That's pretty good. Except I can throw in knight check, right? But then I could throw in g3. So if I go straight with my knight right here, I do win a rook, right? Because it is a check. They can't play g3 right away. But I'm wondering about putting my queen there first. Because if queen takes and then knight takes, it's not as forcing. But I'm trading queens going ahead. But it's not as forcing. Playing the immediate check is more forcing. So I'm going to go that route. Check. The classic fork of the king and rook. So this beautiful knight has done its job and will probably be taking the rook in a moment. Knight takes rook. So I'm ahead material. And as it turns out, I have an excellent connection. That's cool. You can hover your mouse over your bars down there, and chess.com will tell you if your connection's good or not. And now, if I'm ahead material, let's trade. Let's trade. Queen f2 check. This forces a trade. So I'm going to pre-move. Actually, it doesn't quite force a trade, does it? It does not force it. I can, yeah, exactly. They can throw that in first. And then I'll come here. So the pre-move didn't hurt me, but I was incorrect saying it did force the trade immediately. It did not. Check, and then, okay. So the beautiful knight has left the game, but it did a great job. My knight was my most valuable player. Let's see. So this bishop could really stand to improve a little bit. I'm gonna put my bishop up here, and then I may push this pawn, check the king, and take on f2. Or there's some other kind of moves I could do too. But this pawn's a little weak, so I'm going to go ahead and play this tactic right now. Weak in the sense that it required a bishop to defend it. I win a pawn. I don't lose time winning the pawn. Uh-oh, there's a threat. I better move my king over to defend the square. Okay. There's a little threat there, but I don't think I need to be too worried about it. What I want to do is open up the center on this king now with my two rooks. My rooks want to say hello. Remember to check out dailychessmusings.com to see thousands of free lessons. I've put so many lessons. I talked about a Zukertort versus Anderson game. When I teach a lesson, oftentimes I will just post it on my blog, just so it's there, it's saved, right? It's on the cloud, but it's also for anybody to view later on. So check out dailychessmusings.com. Also check out the Daily Chess Musings Club on chess.com. Again, playing to open up the center. This bishop's a little annoying. It's defending f8. I would love to move my rook over to the open file, and I can't. So that is a little bit annoying. In fact, I'm having a hard time figuring out. I think I'm going to go to open up yet another file. I would love to trade pieces as well. So let us try and open up some material over here. If I can get a rook into the third rank, then I can trade rooks with my opponent because it'll be a check. King has to move, and then I trade rooks, and then this game is a lot easier. My king can blockade a passed pawn in the e-file, and my rook and bishop can overpower the bishop. Trying to simplify. Okay, and my opponent creates a nice threat. Let's interpose with a pawn. Now, I can't, I would love to be able to play c5 here, and it looks like a good move, but unfortunately there's that en passant idea. So it would not force these pawns to be broken up and the king to be exposed. It would not. I would also, I would just be thrilled to play, to do this, this, and then this to trade rooks. I would love to do that. I cannot do that because this bishop. So I've got some unique challenges. Instead of moving to f8, then I'm going to move to f7 with one of my rooks. So I have a couple threats here. Certainly I could also play rook d8, but the big threat, in my opinion, is rook to f7. And again, my idea is to push this pawn to give me a support point. All right, so the bishop falls back. I'm going to push the pawn to give me that support point right here. This is how I'm going to trade rooks, hopefully. Uh-oh. The rattlesnake means I'm running low on time. My opponent has a lot more time than me. Okay, and here's the trade of rooks we talked about. Except now it's just winning a rook because the bishop's not defending it anymore. Now he could threaten my bishop. That's fine. That's fine. So he should take the bishop. I will say check. And oh, he didn't attack the other rook. Okay, well I'm gonna bring my king over to stop whatever nonsense going on there. I'm gonna get this rook here saying check, which leaves this bishop undefendable. So it can either block or and be taken or move, and yeah, the king moves and then it gets taken. So my opponent's dream is this pawn. We need to stop that dream. Kings are the right thing to blockade pawns with. It's what they do. So I formed a plan on how to win this game, and then I executed the plan. It's nice when stuff works out like that. All right, I'm going to say check. King's going to go there, I imagine. Then I'll defend this pawn. I can move the other rook over to defend the other pawn, and then white has no real options here. Yep. I'm guessing this pawn's going to move forward. This is the move that I'm predicting. And now my king's going to attack the backward pawn. Once again, defending this pawn. So if the other pawn moves forward, that's fine with me, because my rook can now take it. I think I'm going to push this pawn forward and play for a checkmate. Our two kings are now in opposition. Let's finish this out with a rook and king style checkmate. And nope, he has an escape route. Darn. Okay. Oh, there's always the other way of doing it. Okay. My technique is not so great here. I'm going to have to play faster. I think I missed something. I've been dilly-dallying too much. There we go. Okay. All right. Now I am ready to play another. Good job, by the way, Dice Knights. Take a look at the game review, and I'm gonna Dice Knights. You sent me another one. Nope. I'm gonna play somebody else now. So where is somebody else who wants to play me now? One challenge per evening. Dice nights, one challenge per evening. Let's see, is anybody else... Dice Knights? I know I saw Crosser Bishop. Where's Crosser Bishop? I know Dice Knights is on. Let's get a different challenge. Somebody else. As it turned out, I learned tonight that some of the players from the Gomes Elementary School have been playing me in tandem, and that's fine too. They're learning. I'm going to go ahead and accept Dice Knights. All right. Yeah, we'll go ahead. All right, my turn to be white this time. So E4. And Dice Knights, you have a little bit of time to make your first move. Otherwise, there shall be a countdown. 37 seconds. My name is Chris Torres. This is Daily Chess Musings. It is Thursday night, so I am playing chess against players from the Gomes Elementary School in Fremont, California. We are gearing up for the Cal Chess State Championships, which happens at the middle of this month. I'll probably do a video on that whole experience of attending the Cal Chess State Championships. I am the Cal Chess Scholastic Coordinator and also the Cal Chess Journal editor, so I will definitely be there. Okay, so game aborted with Dice Knights. Who wants to play me next? I need a challenge. We played one really good game. Who is going to send me a challenge? Chess players from Gomes Elementary School in Fremont, California. Send me a challenge. Send me a challenge, please. A 10-minute challenge. We'll play a nice game. 10 minutes gives me enough time to narrate the ideas as well as keep it lively. Have the moves being played at a fast clip. Let me, you know what, I'm going to take a look around. Let's see. VDoug is online. Sure. Dice Knights we've already played. Crosser Bishop wanted to play me. VDoug challenged me. Great, VDoug. All right, here we go. VDoug says he's #1 in chess. He's doing fantastic, I would agree. I'm going to go with a Latvian. Last time I played the Russian game. This time I'm going to play a Latvian. Latvian gambit. So I'm allowing... It's a dangerous gambit because it exposes your king to all this trouble on the what I call the zigzag diagonal here. It's a very dangerous gambit. But it's also an easy way for me to get some pieces out faster than my opponent. I'm putting pressure. And now I've opened up roadways for my 2 bishops and my queen, and I'm the only one with a knight out. By the way I did that, the line I played here is not the book line. It is not the book line. I play some second best moves. I know the book line. Sometimes I will play some of those traps. I'm going to play bishop d6 and then castle. I think I actually made a mistake there. Yeah, it's a little mistake. It's a little mistake. And yeah, that's how you punish it. Good job. All right, so I'm going to take the, I made a little error. I take the pawn back. Now that I can't castle immediately, it's important to have extra defenses to worry about h5, whatnot. Um, Queen e7 may be the best option now that I've made a mistake. It could lead to a trade of queens, but it just might be the best choice. If it doesn't lead to a trade of queens, then I can castle queenside or queenside. I can castle queenside or queenside, he says. The reason I can't castle kingside is because, as we saw in the first game of the evening, the bishop on in the c-file is influencing the path toward castle. I think white probably should have traded with me there. Traded queens. If, see, they need to castle. My queen is in the same file as the king. But if they castle, look what I got lined up. A bishop, and a knight. Right. Okay, so here we go. Watch this, ladies and gentlemen. A little bit of the Greek gift sacrifice. Kapowie zowie. Check. When your opponent has a bishop on d6 and a knight on f6, this kind of thing might happen. I just got a nice kiss from my dog, Lola. Came in to say hi. She does not play chess. Okay. And I could bring that back right now, but I'm not gonna. I'm gonna leave the bishop there and bring the knight closer. I was planning on bringing the knight closer anyways. What I want to do is bring my queen out to h4, move the bishop out of the way, and then say checkmate on h2. That's the plan. And again, this bishop maneuver is known as the Greek gift. You can find a wonderful lesson on the Greek gift sacrifice on dailychessmusings.com. Go to the blog section, search the Greek gift, and you will find. Again, it's this idea of the bishop being here, moving there with the sacrifice. Oftentimes the king takes, then the knight takes, says check. No wonder Lola came and said hello. The doorbell just rang. The doorbell just rang. That was a good move, V-Doug. That was a good move. Now, some people might say, why don't you just do that? Queen h4, end of game, right? Wrong. Knight takes, f5 would be threatening the queen, so the discovered check wouldn't work. Wouldn't work. Of course, this is the danger of ordering a grocery order when you're live streaming, right? You might get a lot of ding-dongs and door knocks when you're trying to find the winning combination. All right, so when you lose your focus, you got to go back and look at your checks, captures, and threats. I've got plenty of time because this happened in the opening. Checks, captures, and threats. Very, very tricky. Very, very tricky. In fact, so what I was saying is the queen to h4, the knight takes f4, stops the bishop g3 from being mate in 2, right? So that's a problem. But when I look at checks, captures, and threats, what's the first move I should look at? Knight takes f2. What happens if knight takes f2? Black's king has to play h2. Has to play king takes h2, or or the rook has to take on f2. So if the king takes on h2, then the queen can come out to h4, and that's beautiful. And if the rook takes on f2, then the bishop can take on g3. So here we go. Let's see what happens. Knight takes f2. Let's see if my checks, captures, and threats method came through in a nick of time again. It usually does. Here it was, is something I probably would have seen because I was in the flow of it. But it's important to use the checks, captures, and threats when your flow is disrupted, especially. And my flow was disrupted. Um, let's see. So then I was going to play bishop takes g3 is the plan, followed by queen takes h4. So bishop takes g3. Hopefully I'm not missing a big tactic here. The minute, if this bishop on f5 falls, then I could fall victim to a check on my own king. So I have to be a little careful here. Especially since I don't deal well with distraction, and right now there's some distraction occurring. But I think I can finish this out. I think I can. So if rook takes bishop, then queen goes to h4 check, king goes to g1, queen goes to h2 check, king goes to f1, queen goes to h1 check, king has to go to the e file. King has to go to the e file. And then it's time for rook goes to e8. White's rook probably blocks on e5. Then rook takes, pawn takes, and rook takes queen. Okay, so I just drew something. Hopefully I'm calculating all of that correctly. VDoug may be watching the broadcast and thinking about all of this. Maybe he finds a gap in my calculation. I just went step by step through once. I didn't double check like I normally would. My name is Chris Torres. I am a correspondence chess master. Okay, there's a little hole. There's a little hole in the operation. Okay, good job. Wow, good move. All right. So what does VDoug come up with? Okay. First of all, he's stopping my queen from going there because now it can be traded. Second of all, if my queen comes down to e1 to say check, it almost looks like a checkmate sequence, but this rook can drop back because the bishop's defending it, right? Right. Okay. and then to tap it all off, if I play bishop takes f2, queen takes f5 check, would be a fork. And then the queen could get my bishop in a moment. So again, I need to calculate. I believe pawn g3 looks like a really good move here, because it threatens the queen, defends the bishop. Yeah. So I'm threatening the queen, and so I'm still threatening the rook afterwards. Remember, the reason I don't want to take the rook right away is because I would lose both my bishops for it. With queen takes, and then, yeah. So I don't want to do that right away. So I'm going to play g6. My name is Chris Torres. This is Daily Chess Musings. If you want to find out more about what I do, you can go to dailychessmusings.com. If you want to join our community, it's easy and free. Go to the Daily Chess Musings Club on chess.com and click join. Lily! Let me see if I can get Lily to get me some more coffee. That would be stupendous. More coffee, please, sweetie. Thank you. All right, so we're waiting on VDoug. This is both games have been very educational tonight, and this one pushed my calculation brain pretty good. And then VDoug came up with a move that stopped the big long sequence of events. The big combination that I had drafted out on the chessboard. VDoug just stopped it. He said, "Nope, that's not going to happen." But now I'm threatening this queen again. I'm also threatening. So I'm threatening the queen, I'm threatening the rook, and also other fun things, right? So now when I take the rook, if I take the rook with my bishop, his bishop can come to g5, defending the back rank with the rook and also skewering my queen to my own rook. Wow. Interesting. So once again, I don't know if I'm going to do... I think what I'm going to do is something really cool. I think I'm going to do something really cool. I think I'm going to play rook takes d4, which has a dual threat. It's threatening rook to h4 and rook to d1. Does that work? I think it does. I think it does. Plus, I'm still threatening this rook down here. All right, so boom. Now I'm threatening some checkmating sequences with my rook, perhaps. But I'm also, see, my opponent has two ways of defending f1 with the rook and the bishop. So I think, in my opinion, my big threat right here is rook to h4. Bring in the tactics. Bring in the tactics like this can just blow up in your face quite easily, though. Let's knock on wood. Not jinx ourselves, but yeah, when you play tactical sharp, you gotta really make sure you're doing your due diligence and calculating from both perspectives, spotting any checks that could be thrown in that could mess up sequences. Okay, so the rook moves forward, or to the side rather, threatening my queen now. Which that is problematic because now my rook can just go straight forward, which is like checkmate. Yep. All right, so it's mate in 3 from here, right? 1, there's check, block, check, block, check, mate, right? Right. Looks right. Let me double check everything. Check. The king cannot move forward. Double check. Looks good. All right. So check. Check. And now I believe bishop just has to go to f1 and then it's checkmate. That was a very, very entertaining game. I had to think hard. I had to think hard. Good game, VDoug. You know what? Let's take a moment to review this game while I'm waiting to see if somebody else will challenge me. And let's look at the game review and see how it goes. I had a 78.9% accuracy. Let's okay, and what I you can just like move forward to the next key move, And of course, it doesn't like my move because, like I said, I wasn't using what's in the book. I know what's in the book. I have the book on the Latvian. I'm using some sidelines because I like to make it up as I go sometimes. Where's the next key move? Is there? Yes, there is. Let's see. And the next, see, it's giving me a lot of inaccuracies, but all right. Now this sacrifice is actually a blunder. So I thought I had the finishing. So my great sacrifice was actually inaccurate. The Greek gift does not work here. Let's find out why. Let's find out why. Because king takes. But let me do a little further with the analysis here. If king takes, what I was planning was knight g4. And then king goes to g1. And then I was planning on playing like queen to h4. Threatening here, right? Oh, but bishop f4. Of course. Vidug. So my sacrifice was unsound. You didn't accept it, but it was unsound. So what happened in the game was he didn't take it. So he missed a win by not taking my sacrifice. Knight g4 was best. Knight f2 was brilliant. See, so he had a chance. He had a chance. Knight f2. Was it really brilliant, or is it something? Is it a brilliant that you could discover at home simply using checks, captures, and threats? Right. That was a really good move. The QH5 stopping me from going there. That was good. And then there's the big mistake, threatening, and then, yep. So as it turns out, my sacrifice that set up all this incredible stuff was unsound. It was actually a blunder. It was actually a blunder because that, or as I showed you also, bishop takes h2, then king takes, then if knight says check, king can go to g1. I come out here. It looks like I got a ton of pressure, but f4, bishop f4, takes care of it all very nicely. Don't believe me? Don't believe me that it does? I mean, what should I do? What should black do to continue the attack? Show me a good attacking move. I don't think there is one. The computer is suggesting king b8. Which is certainly not an attacking move. Then queen d2, pawn in the center, castle, and rooks are unified. And Vidug is fine. Vidug is fine. The computer's suggesting queen to e7, or rook h to f8 might be a better attacking chance. I mean, it does indirectly threaten f2 a bunch of times, but then white could simply play rook a to e1 would be, I think, the most likely move, and I just don't have enough. I just don't have enough. Bishop c8, so I'm trying to attack f7 a bunch of times, right? And then what? Bishop g3 is fine. There's no checkmate here. White's just ahead material. All right. So, fun game, but unsound. Unsound use of the Greek gift. People that know me probably aren't shocked that I played an unsound sacrifice. I do that. More than occasionally, in fact. Yeah, I do that. I do that quite a bit. Quite a bit. Having said all of that, it looks like I got time for one more maybe, or we might just call it a broadcast. Let's see, if I get another challenge, in fact, I don't think I do have time for another 20-minute because I do have a 7:30 lesson. So, I had fun tonight. Excellent, excellent job, Gomes Elementary School from Fremont, California. Watch out for them. Boy, I wouldn't want to be paired against these guys and gals at the state championships, March 19th and 20th. Um, they're gonna be they're gonna be doing some great stuff. Um, my name is Chris Torres. This is Daily Chess Musings. This video will appear on YouTube shortly. We will transfer it over. And in addition to appearing on YouTube, go over there, check out all the great lessons of great, great chess players. It's fun. Certainly, it's fun to play against your students. All coaches should. But sharing the beautiful games of the masters from today and yesterday, and explaining them and watching the ideas make sense to young minds, and exposing those young minds to these new ideas for the first time ever and seeing the light bulb go off. That's my favorite part of chess. And I have a bunch of those videos over at Daily Chess Musings on the YouTube channel. And join our club, Daily Chess Musings Club, on chess.com. And go check out dailychessmusings.com tonight. I will see you later. Bye.